Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you? This is Just Like You, episode number 42. Everyday People, Amazing Stories. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, we are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you join us every Tuesday. And make sure if you have a story, and we know you do, that you get in contact with me. I would love to have you here on the show. If you know someone who has a story, I would love to have them on the show. So hook it up, hook it up. Just a couple of quick housekeeping issues. If the internet doesn't let us be great, we will be here 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I believe my guest is on PST, so 5:30 to 6 p.m. my guest time in California. So make sure you join us every Tuesday. We've just had a magnificent time, and I see she is here. Let's get her in and let's get going. Beautiful lady, how are you? Let's see if she gets on here. There you are.
Can you see me okay?
I can see you, but you're frozen.
Oh, darn it. Oh,
there you are.
Great.
How are you, beautiful?
Hi.
I had to wear my hat today because I'm cold. So.
Oh my God, yes. Well, it's a little chilly in Los Angeles.
How's your day going?
Great, great. I just saw a full load of patients, and now I'm ready to talk about art.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You guys, for those of you who are joining this, she has a powerful story. So I want to dig right in. I don't want to take a lot of time. Like I said, the housekeeping issues, if the internet doesn't let us be great, we will be back here 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 to 6 p.m. PST. But I want to get Mary Rose talking about her story because she has a real powerful story, and how she, I guess, I'll let her tell it. So I don't want to take any of it. So Mary Rose, thank you again for joining us on the show and being a guest on the show. Like I said, you're talented, but in more ways than, it's just so much. Like I said, your story is so powerful. So start off by telling us your journey.
Yeah, so I guess, we kind of got connected by a mutual friend because of our similar stories of healing with art therapy and using art to heal chronic or a terminal disease or bad condition. And I think, I started, in my 20s, I was recovering from depression and alcoholism, and I found art as a mode to kind of heal myself and work through issues and problems. So, and I've been sober for 30 years now. So art has been a big, huge part of my life. I had a baby, I did a series, I got divorced, I did a series, I was working through some trauma issues, I did a series on that. So it's like, it's interesting. And this entire time I've been a registered nurse, and I focus on diabetes education and coping with diabetes and the self-management of that chronic disease. I also have rheumatoid arthritis, so I have a lot of chronic conditions there. So, but the main thing that we were going to talk about was a year ago today, on the 14th, I started getting sick, and I'm a nurse, of course, and I just didn't get better. I had a COVID test, and it was negative, and then I was just not getting better, getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Finally, I got so sick with COVID-19. I had to go to the hospital for my second test, get fluids, just really, really sick, the sickest I've ever been in my whole life. Really felt like that night I went to the hospital that I wasn't going to make it, and it was like I said to you earlier, like that feeling of impending doom. Like I felt violated. I was one of the first 100 reportable cases in Los Angeles. I was like, why me? It was tough. It beat me down hard. And so I was in the house, homebound, for about 2 weeks while everybody was on lockdown, because I think we locked down on the 13th. I was sick on the 14th. And
I like the comment you told me when we were talking about, you said you went in and they said something like, what are we going to do? Or,
yes. So I kept texting my my primary care doctor, and he's like, I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. you know, and, you know, at first he said, I don't know what's wrong with you, you know,
That's powerful.
and all the doctors that I work with were like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Are you nuts? Like, why aren't you getting better? What is this? You know, because my first COVID test was negative.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I had this genius doctor that I work with. She helped me, like, just doing these kind of like rogue things to keep me going with like steroids and things. So anyway, I made it, you know, and I was weakened by this virus. I felt violated. I felt, you know, diminished, beaten down. So I came into the studio, and my first thought was, do a self-portrait, express this pain. No one understands. You're the only person in LA that has it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You know, there's no one to talk to. The doctors don't even know how to help you, right?
I didn't say I liked the comment, but it was just an interesting comment. And how must that have made you feel to say,
very lonely, very alone.
Yeah.
Scared to death. I mean, I went to the emergency room. They wouldn't even let me use the bathroom. They were so afraid of me. They were dressed in spacesuits. I mean, this was like the first week with COVID, you know, in LA. So I came out here. I brought the portrait to show you, and I did this portrait of myself, you know, and
Beautiful.
I thought, Corona's crown. I made it. I survived. I put this crown on my head, and this little cross here didn't go on until much later. I got to looking at this. It's like a medical cross, but I got to looking at this. I was like, this doesn't look like me. And then I thought, oh, it looks like me as a young nurse 35 years ago, when I was living through a similar dark time. It was the AIDS pandemic, you know, epidemic. And I was working as a hospital nurse, you know, in my first 2 years of nursing, you know, poking myself with needles. We didn't know how it was transmitted. We didn't have a test for it. You know, people were just dropping like flies. And I thought back, oh my God, I would go to bed every night just worrying that I had AIDS. And I thought, I have to reach out to all those other nurses. I need to connect with them, the doctors and the nurses working in this environment. So I started to paint all these nurses that I saw on the news.
Wow.
And then this nurse here from Florida, he passed away because he was working in a senior center that didn't have the right type of PPE masks. This is a cousin.
But what I'd like to make sure we tell people is these are actual people.
They're actual people. This is a cousin of mine that's a physical therapist. She was moving the bodies of the people on the ventilators so that they could breathe. You know, there was this way of helping them survive in the beginning when we didn't know what to do, but they did better if they moved their bodies supine and back and forth like that. So this is my cousin that's a physical therapist. She was doing that.
And I love how they all are wearing their crowns.
They all got a crown. And then this is a pulmonologist, ICU doctor at Kaiser here in Los Angeles, Luis Moreta. And he specializes in the lungs and everything. And he was going into the trenches every day, working long hours. And these healthcare providers are really killing themselves out there. So then I put them all on this grid, and I put this behind me to show like this unity and groundedness and thank you. And I'm giving these away to ICUs. If anyone knows an ICU that would accept this gift. And then I write a little
applause.
I write a little thank you card and for all the nurses, and I put them in a little box, and it has my story on the back, and it says thank you, and it tells my story of living through the AIDS epidemic and living through COVID. And so I found a way to like keep myself occupied, get out of the self-pity, you know, like, you know, and it also helped me because after COVID, I didn't get totally better. I have what they call long hauler syndrome. So some of the side effects to my body after effects of getting hit by the virus so hard. So this painting and this giving back and this reaching out to people that were also impacted by this insult on our community, you know?
Right.
So I you know,
I think it's interesting that it's like you and yourself are a hero, right? Like you overcame, number one, you're one of our health heroes, you know, working in these spaces. And then what you did was you took your story and gave back to heroes, right? So you're a hero, paying it forward to heroes. Yes. And I just think that you know, like you and I have kind of talked about it a little bit, you know, just thinking about how art is therapy and
Yes.
thinking about
Yes.
how, you know, that really helped you kind of get through probably physically and emotionally, spiritually, whatever. And then it's helping other people too, you know?
Absolutely. Art is not just helpful to the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you share it or you enjoy someone else's art, it heals your soul. You know, it it forces you into the moment. It's that present moment awareness, that the reason we all meditate nowadays. It
Mm-hmm.
calms the nervous system, it calms the immune system. It just, you know, it helps with healing and escape, in a sense, a good healthy escape, so
Right.
that you can reduce your stress response, you know, and all the hormones that are secreted during stress. You can relieve yourself of all those things by doing art, looking at art, you know, listening to music. All these types of things really have helped me along the road of having a chronic illness or even, you know, an acute illness like this.
Mm-hmm. So really quickly, I wanted to go back. Tony is on and she says you're the bomb.com, by the way.
Hi, Tony. Oh my
So
God, how
she said,
exciting.
oh, Mary Rose is the bomb.com. She said that in the earlier comment. But what, I mean, you know, the question I had originally anticipated for you was what advice would you give, right, to someone who's maybe struggling with whatever, right, with COVID, because that is still alive and real. And what advice would you give someone? But also the question I want to ask you, which I didn't say to you, but it makes me think of it right now. Like, how did you get this energy, right, to do this, right? I feel like you were going through so much, yet you had this
Yeah,
giving energy. Where did that come from?
right. So this is a habit that was formed in recovery.
Mm.
And this is what the advice I would give people is: when you have a problem, lean into that problem, look at it, write down in your journal, draw a picture, you know, review it with someone you love, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I would say second is ask for help. You know, go to someone that's evolved from this similar problem. You got a problem with money, go to someone that's successful with money. You've got a problem with diabetes, go to someone that's good with their diabetes. You have
Mm-hmm.
depression, go to someone that's recovered from depression. You know, look for a mentor that has what you want, you know. And then you lean into that problem, you discuss it with them. Maybe you pray if you believe in God, or you share your experience with someone else, you listen to their advice, you get into a practice of
Mm.
metabolizing your emotions, not
Okay.
holding them in, you know. Some people run, some people listen to music, some people sing, whatever it is, don't get it out, express yourself. And then and do it with a mentor, do it with a loving friend, a pastor, you know, anyone, a mentor. And then when you're finished with all that and you've healed it, share it with somebody else.
Mm.
That's the full circle of of recovery and wholeness. It's an integrated, it's an integrative experience. So you
Mm-hmm.
integrate the the light in you, the thing that's whole and powerful and grounded, with the part of you that got sick. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you we're both, you know, we're both dark and light. You know, we have our dark experiences and we can pull it into the light and we can integrate that. You know, I'm not just a sick COVID survivor, right? I
Mm-hmm.
am a nurse that's whole, that has integrated this experience and turned it into art and a gift to the community, you know?
Yeah, and Tony's commenting here, growing your network. So growing, just like kind of like you said, expanding that space of people that you're talking with, you know,
Absolutely.
going to
Yes.
someone who's been through it, right? Or going to
Yes.
someone who's been there, or a mentor, like you said.
Right.
So, you know, I think that that is so important. I wonder, like, one of the things that you mentioned in the beginning was that you were one of the first, you know, 100 cases, right? So did that, were you able to find kind of anyone in that space, or, you know, what, how did you, I feel like, did you find the other 99, or, you know, how?
No, there, there still aren't that many people that got it as
Yeah.
bad as I do. I'm, you know, I'm older, you know, I'm not a young spring chicken, and I have a pre-existing condition. So
Um,
yes, since then I've met a lot of people that have had COVID, but very light, like a flu. But
mhm.
still, I tapped into those people. A lot of
Okay.
people called on me because
Okay.
one of the things is I didn't hide it. I thought about it. I thought, oh, am I a leper? Oh, should I hide it? You know, and that's kind of like what I did with my alcoholism and depression at first, is I hid it. I was ashamed of it. And I thought, no, you know, there's a time that this experience that I'm having is going to benefit somebody else. And
Okay.
I've become like the person in Santa Monica that everyone, the nurse in Santa Monica, everybody goes to for advice on COVID, you know. But, you know, I didn't hide it. You know, it's worked out. I've definitely bonded with other people that have had COVID. There's actually a really good COVID recovery group on Facebook of long hauler
Mm-hmm.
patients like me, and we really bonded over there. That was really helpful. I did that for quite a long time. So
Well, I think you said something key, because I ask you that because I'm thinking I think you know, what you said is key, right? Like, you didn't have a lot of people to go to when you were the first, 100. But what you said, which was important right there, is I didn't hide it.
right, I didn't hide it. I didn't
You know?
stuff it. I didn't stuff the feelings of self-pity. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
all over that portrait with the red face and the cloudy face, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then I did more of my face, and I became more empowered as time went on. So, um, you know, it's just like leaning into your pain or your diagnosis or whatever you're going through, leaning into every phase of it, you know, just like the phases of grief, you know. There's disbelief, shame, you know, all these different feelings that you have to go to until you get to acceptance and
Mm-hmm.
empowerment and mastery, you know.
And I think that comes through in your work.
Thank you.
You
Thanks.
know, I think that comes through, right? Like, these heroes that you're drawing,
Yeah.
it comes through in their faces, right? I like how when you and I were talking that some of them have masks on, because that's
Mm-hmm.
real,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
And even after that, I did a series. I brought some of these out. These were some. So it's evolved. So I got into the feeling like body disconnections, and these were all like the side effects from the
oh,
I did more abstract
yeah.
from the long hauler for months afterwards. It was still swirling around in my consciousness and in my
Mm-hmm.
body, but these were kind of me detaching from the virus, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just a little bit more fun and abstract and playful and colorful. And they also kind of reached out, like I put maps in there and different areas of the world where it was being
Mm-hmm.
affected, you know, and I could see like my inner landscape was now becoming an outer landscape. And I was starting to connect with the world around
Right.
me, that, oh, this is a shared traumatic experience
Mm-hmm.
that we're having. It's not just me. At first, it was just me alone, the first girl to get it. You know?
Yeah.
And then it just became this really like expansive, like the world, like the planet is all going through this together. So, yeah.
And
And
who
then,
knew, right? Who knew it was going to be? I mean, who knew? And to your point, it started. I mean, and to you, it started with you, right? But who knew that you were going to be able to connect with literally the world through this? You
yeah,
know,
it's so cool. Yeah. And
and give back to the world. I think that it's just like I was telling you on the phone when we were talking. It's just it's a service that you're doing. You're getting a whole lot of loves on the other side. Someone's hitting love, 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 love. It's service that
that's,
you're giving back, but
yes,
it's like a
yes.
connection,
And
a
it's
connection to
so,
the heart.
right. And it's so fulfilling. And this
Yeah.
horrible traumatic experience, like the worst illness I've ever had in my life, where I felt I was going to die, has
Mm-hmm.
really enlightened me. It's made me a better artist. It's given me a really fulfilling, clear direction. And another thing it's done is it made me grateful every morning to wake up and take a deep breath, and
Grateful,
that
folks. Great.
gratitude for I
Mm-hmm.
can breathe. So what if my joints hurt? I can
Mm-hmm.
breathe. My heart is beating. I'm alive. Let's make the best of it. And one of the other practices I do that I wanted to talk to your viewers about is every morning I,
Elizabeth Kelly Erickson says
yes,
resilience rippling out, and yes, it's giving back a total service.
yeah, it is. And where I get in touch with this stuff is my morning journal. it's just like it's exercise for me. It's like, what are my intentions?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to do with my art, with my life, with my nursing career, with my service to other people, you know? And I
So
learned this way back in my 20s in recovery. It
I'm
really,
putting a pause because I'm going to go back to setting intention.
mm,
I like that you said that in your journal. It's you set intention. And I think that's important as well. Like I'm sure with what you're going with what you went through and go through, setting intention is so important, right? And even at every moment when you weren't feeling your best, you know, to set intention. And now with your art, it's setting intention. So I wanted to put a pin in that one because I think that one is really important too, that we make sure we're setting, you know, setting intention to what we
yeah.
do.
I think no matter where we are in the spectrum of life, there's a place to grow, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and to stay teachable, and to just want to always be better. Like I want to be a better painter. I want to be a better nurse. I want to be a better communicator. You know, I want to lead and help people heal through art. And you were asking me all these great questions like, what's next for the future? And that's one of the things I'd like to do is to be more of an advocate for artists, for people with chronic conditions, to use art therapy. For nurses,
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few workshops with some nurses that have come by since the pandemic, and you know, we've done some art healing therapy art projects. So you know,
I'd like to, I wanted to point out to viewers, so if you guys want to get in contact, by the way, with Mary Rose, her Instagram handle is, I've tagged her in a lot of stuff. I'm going to tag her in this video, but make sure, so if you look at this, if you look at this on YouTube or IGTV later and see some of her artwork or see some of her things that you would like to get in contact with her, please feel free, I guess, Mary Rose, to do so, get in contact with me or get in contact with her, reach out to her. But I like also, Mary Rose, that you, okay, so you have the paintings that are the people, but
yeah,
you've kind of briefed over it a little bit that you have the abstract that are kind of the feelings.
yeah, it's like,
Because aren't our feelings that way, right? Like when I was looking at them, I was thinking that looks like some feelings I've had. You know, especially when you're
yeah,
going through a chronic situation, your feelings are abstract, right?
yeah, and you know, when you were going through your battle, is, you know, sometimes a feeling can't be described. It's just a
Right.
color, it's just a shape, it's a lightning bolt going through your body, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, and the way to just get it out, really, literally, it sounds a little hokey, but you just get it out and something happens. You're free. There is a release that happens, you know. But if you just keep stuffing it down and stuffing it down, you know, it didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it works for me. I feel much better when I get it out, all out, you know.
So what if someone says, and this again, I'm kind of going off our script a little bit, but I'm saying this from myself, even though, you know, when I went through my situation, my hospital had an art service, and I kind of told you a little bit about that. But what if someone says, because I got to admit, I had a little bit of this, that I'm not an artist,
Right. Well,
you know, the worry.
this is what I say to everyone that says that, is we were all born an artist. We
Mm.
all have creative energy flowing through our bodies. And I would say that somewhere along the continuum of life, somebody told you weren't an artist, or you told yourself, or you compared
Mm.
yourself to someone else. If you think back to elementary school, we were all artists. We didn't say, no, I'm not going to paint. I'm not going to put my hands in that paint and go like this
Right.
because I'm not an artist, you know. Like, it's our expectations of what an artist needs to look like. I mean, my paintings aren't perfect. They're not perfectly, you know, formed and with everything, you know, just so. And that to me is what makes them so beautiful. Is, you know, I would encourage people, embrace your imperfections, those quirky little faces we paint, or a flower that's got a little drip hanging down. That's the most beautiful part of the painting. And when you embrace that in art, you embrace it in yourself and in others. And that's what allows us to love ourselves and other people
Mm-hmm.
unconditionally, is to say, oh yeah, you have that quirky little look on, you know, thing when you smile, but that's what I love the most about you.
Right.
You know that feeling. And it's like, can we love ourselves enough
You're
to
getting a whole bunch
express?
of little hearts over here. You're getting a whole bunch of little hearts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important, because I think a lot of people, and I, like I said, I'm speaking for myself. I mean, I have embraced it, but I remember the feeling of thinking to myself, am I really an artist? Like, you know, but then after I started doing it, someone says, so true. I never considered myself an artist. We have to be, we don't have to be perfect or meet others' expectations. So that's from Tony.
Yes.
So it's so true what you're saying, right? We don't have
Yes.
to meet others' expectations. We don't have to be perfect. You know, our paintings, if you will, our art doesn't have to be perfect. We need to embrace those imperfections. And I
Yes. It's
think that
just a metaphor for that.
that's where the therapy lies, right? Like that's
Yeah.
where the healing lies.
Yeah. And when you have a chronic illness or a problem in your life, if you don't embrace that problem, oh my gosh, you're going to be so miserable. I mean, you can't fight it. You have to go, oh, I have this thing going on, but I'm going to be happy anyway. You say, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't study art, but I'm going to make a little painting or draw a little picture today just to get out, just to forget about everything. I'm in this group, this Facebook group. It's called Draw 5 Minutes a Day. And we've invited everybody, in the family and, cousins for all over. And we're all drawing for 5 minutes a day. You're welcome to join this public group. And, it's forcing people, that don't normally think of themselves as an artist to just get, the health benefits, the mental health and physical benefits of drawing and looking and observing. It's mindfulness, it's meditation, it's a quieting, it's a stopping in this crazy busy overachiever world of perfection. And you know what, I can't live in that. That's not me.
Right.
Come over to my house anytime, you'll see it's not perfect. And yeah, as soon as I let go of all that perfectionism, I could just be myself and I could thrive. And I would say for anyone that's looking and is interested in being an artist, any kind of artist, I would do that book called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It was
Artist Way.
Yeah, it was written probably about 25 years ago. And it's just like a workbook for recovering the artist that exists within you. And if you could think back to when you were a kid, what did you love to do? Did you love to play guitar? Did you love to sing? Did you love to draw? And just give yourself 5 minutes a day of that, of your favorite music you used to listen to, something like that. And it really brings a lot of joy into your life.
It really does. And you don't have to be perfect. So I want to read a couple of comments. So Gabby Villa says hello.
Hi.
And Elizabeth Kelly Erickson says, I'm with you both. Let it out. I've been leaning into my shadow, into it. And one thing you just said that I'll share of it's kind of funny, but to your point, so I can't dance at all. Like I cannot dance. Okay. So that's that, but I will dance like I can dance. So I think that, that's kind of something for me that I'm like, you said, do something kind of 5 minutes a day or whatever. I can't dance, nor can I sing, but I'm sure I'm positive in my own head that I can do both great.
Yeah.
And
so who cares? It's only you in the car singing to the radio, and you're enjoying yourself and you're letting yourself just get it out and, just be perfectly imperfect is what I call it. I'm perfectly imperfect, embracing your scars and your wounds and your pain or, just your quirkiness or whatever. And the sooner you love yourself, the more love and abundance and people like us you're going to attract into your life. You don't want that snooty little perfect little whatever in your life. You don't have to live up to that.
I couldn't, and that's what I learned that though. Elizabeth is saying paint it out and you're the best Mary is Andy I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Andy says you're the best Mary, and then dance it out. And Andy says again, Mary and Elizabeth, you inspire me always. So I just think it's really inspirational, to know that you can have, you can be talented, right? I mean, because I definitely think that there's a component of this that, is God-given and it's talent, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's another component of this that probably I in my heart, I don't know if everybody agrees with this, but in my heart that overarches the talent is just the service that you're doing for others. You know, that
Yes.
service that you're sharing your story, because like you said, with being one of the first 100 people and, you know, not knowing where to go, I think it was so important for you to share your story. I mean, we talked about it, like I said, on the phone. It was like, man, no one wanted to even deal with me, right? And to be
Right.
able to share, and then to be able to take what you did, see that you have this service and this talent, and put it together and blend it to give back, I think is super, you know, amazing
Right.
and loving, and all those
Thank you.
inspirational things
Thank you.
combined with that talent.
Thank you. Yeah, and there's something to say about mastery, like in
Mm,
practice. You know, like it's never too late to
mm,
master something and practice something and get good at something that you want. You know, so I would say to people, like, reach down deep. And if you always wanted to be a writer or a painter or play guitar, start today. Just start. Just go somewhere. Ask for help. You know,
mhm.
and practice every day, and you'll just keep getting better. I mean, I when I was in my 20s, I didn't cope with problems like this. I didn't have those skills. But I started journaling and I started reaching out for help and I started getting mentors and working in recovery and doing the work. And so for many, many years, I leaned into my problems and I turned them into service and recovery and
Yeah.
building myself up. And because I had been doing that for so long, I was like, oh, I just had this most traumatic event. I knew what I needed to do. But if I hadn't been practicing coping with problems in that way, I wouldn't have ever thought to do this. And if I hadn't been drawn, I never drew faces, but if I hadn't been painting and
Mhm.
expressing and journaling every morning, it wouldn't have even, the idea wouldn't have even popped up. But it's these habits that you get into of
I like
coping.
so we're about, believe it or not, our 30 minutes is almost up. I know
Wow.
it goes by so fast. So we're gonna create, so the things I got from here, create some habits. You just mentioned that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just about sometimes giving it a try, you know,
Yeah.
giving it a
Yeah.
try. Don't
And reaching
embrace
out
those
for help, get a
imperfections.
mentor, get a teacher, get someone that, you know, else that does it and talk to them. I mean, Elizabeth that's on here right now, we get together every week and we talk about, okay, what are you doing? What are your inspirations? How do you want to move forward? Oh my gosh, I relate to that. I feel stuck in that way too. Oh yeah, I got out of it this way. You know, find a person, a like-minded individual
Mm-hmm.
that has the same hopes and dreams. Don't share your hopes and dreams with your mother that's going to go, oh, you won't make enough money doing that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
share them with someone that has the same dream, you know, and it can be a secret little club and you can help each other along the path and encourage each other. They're like an accountability partner, you
Right.
know?
A dream accountability partner.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Exactly.
I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Mary Rose, thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you
Definitely,
so
I'm going to
much
reach
too.
back out to you. So I'm going to tag you in everything. I'm going to create a YouTube link,
Thanks.
guys. So this will be on my YouTube. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am Taryn. Yes.
One last thing. I've
Yes.
designed masks. I'm a
Oh,
mask
nice.
advocate, and you can buy them on my shop or on my
Okay.
website, maryroseduraco.com, or on
Okay.
Instagram. I have a little shop. And all my floral designs and the design for this are all on my shop.
So guys, please make sure you get in contact with Mary Rose. She showed us a lot of artwork today. She showed us a lot of love and passion today. So if you would like to get in contact with her, please make sure you do. If you want me to connect you to, or you guys, I certainly will. But
Thank
I
you.
just really appreciate, all you're doing, Mary Rose. I think it takes
Oh, thank you so much.
love your synergy, wonderful message, inspiring dreams, and purposeful service and fun. Love to you both. Yes, I have. Tony says she has 6 of the masks.
Yeah, she does. She wears them all the time.
She's like hearts and roses and heart. You're getting a lot of love, Mary Rose. So
She's out there in Los Angeles modeling my masks so beautifully. She's just the most beautiful person inside and out.
yeah, she's like a
Yeah.
great. I mean, so I, it's a long story how we. Well, not really a long story, but we've known each other for a long time, and it's just so great.
Oh yeah.
I learned a lot about creativity through her.
Oh
Just
yeah. She's amazing.
one of my first creative projects was actually a project that Tony inspired us to do. So
yeah, and I don't even know Tony from art. I know her from business. I was her nurse in the pharmaceutical industry doing diabetes classes for her. And she's an incredible businesswoman on top of the whole art thing. So I just adore her. I adore her. Big connection. And thank you, Tony, for introducing us. This has been really wonderful.
Thank you, everyone, so much. So just remember, so real quickly, to sign off, if you have a story and would like to be on the show, I would love to have you. So make sure you DM me if you have someone you know who would like to be on the show, or however that works. Make sure you get in contact with me. Just hook it up. I'd love to have you on the show. We are here 7:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time every Tuesday. And just to give you guys just a quick glimpse, we are booking people into late August already. So make sure you get in contact with me. I'd love to put you on the show. I know that seems far away, but that's a blessing. So I'm going to take it. Mary Rose, I am going to give you a buzz in a little bit. I'm going to, like I said, put this on my YouTube. Everybody go to my IGTV or my YouTube and check it out. And make sure you go to Mary Rose's Instagram handle as well and check out the work that she's doing, because it is, this show is about what she's doing. Giving back, positivity, love, building community. It's all love. It's all good here. So
thank you. You're the best.
Thank you, everyone. And I'll see everyone next week. Bye-bye.